Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Plague Inc. Evolved, the early access Windows version of the cell phone game. Today we're going to play as the Parasite, but first things first, let me ask everybody to turn off or whitelist me in any ad blockers. Help me make a career. We're going to use Metabolic Jump. Let's see. Yeah, Metabolic Jump is still probably the right choice. Creationist to decrease the chance of it mutating. We will use suppression to increase its chance of skipping to other countries. We will definitely use Extremophile for a small bonus. Extremophile pretty much trumps all the other areas unless you're playing for a very specific goal or very specific start location. And then I'll leave it with translation. Okay. So I looked, as I have been doing, at famous types of diseases and plagues for the different types that we've been playing. And there's quite a few parasites. There is bot flies, which are very gross, and you should look them up. And I don't think we're going to ever use bot flies as a name, because it's possibly the last time, or one of the few last times we play as a Parasite. Uh, Bed bugs, maybe I've already used bed bugs, but one really stuck out because of the fact that I did not know it was a parasite. And that parasite is malaria. So, I know about malaria, most people do, and it affects Latin America, but Africa pretty bad. Let's see, so do we want Central Africa, Angola, Botswana? Let's just start Botswana, why not? No, we've done Botswana before. Have we done South Africa? It's kind of important that we win this for my plans, so let's start in South Africa. Malaria is actually a parasite. It's a microscopic parasite, as it were, so it is very interesting, the transmission style of malaria to start off with. It is initially infected to a human through female mosquitoes, because only female mosquitoes bite humans. Males actually collect nectar from plants. Female mosquitoes bite and draw blood from humans, and when they bite and draw blood, the malaria parasite goes from the mosquito to the human. Now, of course, you have the chicken and the egg problem. Where did malaria originally originate? Was it in some human and it mutated or transferred to being in the mosquito populations, or was it in the mosquito populations and mutated and figured out a way to transfer it to the human populations? I would guess the humans is the right answer, because mosquitoes only live like 3 days. So, and I don't know if I did not see if mosquito to mosquito transmission was possible. So, malaria gets in the bloodstream of humans, and it goes right into the red blood cells and stays in the red blood cells and the liver. It actually will be eliminated from the human body and cleaned out if those red blood cells go into the spleen, and so that would pretty much get rid of malaria right then and there if the red blood cells get in the spleen. So how do you keep red blood cells from getting into the spleen? The malaria inside the red blood cells excretes a glue-like substance to glue the red blood cells into the small blood vessels. So basically, it glues the red blood cells to the sides of the walls, the veins and arteries, and that's how it doesn't get in the spleen, and that's how it thrives. and grows, and as it thrives and grows, the human becomes a secondary transmitter of the disease, which means that it can human-to-human contact is possible, and thus malaria can spread even further, particularly in densely populated areas with poor education about malaria. Interestingly enough, even though they're working on vaccines, there is no vaccine for malaria right now. There are some test trials, but nothing really. So the best way to prevent malaria is for you to educate people, to have them have mosquito nets at night so that they don't get bitten in the middle of the night. Assumedly you move around enough and you take precautions during the day also, so you don't get bitten during the day, because it doesn't matter if you're bitten at day or night, although mosquitoes tend to like to come out at night. They certainly come out in the day too. So really you can try and kill mosquitoes by either spraying poisons, which is a typical human thought, let's just spray a bunch of poisons, or you could release bats if the bats are native to your area, but you don't want to introduce new species into your area, and then all of a sudden you'll have this giant bat problem, and then you'll be spreading, I don't know, white noise syndrome or something, some other disease. If you saw a previous episode called white noise syndrome. So you don't want to change the unnaturally or affect the environment that much by introducing new things. But you can install bug zappers for sure and try and kill them that way. Even killing the mosquitoes though is going to change the environment, but if that's what it takes to save the dominant species of humans, well, that is actually part of nature's law, as it's colloquially known. The strong survive, and if we are technologically strong to get rid of mosquitoes, then we should do it. What is really strange when you read the Wikipedia of malaria, there's a lot about it. It is that it's kind of both a trivial disease and a very severe disease at once. So the World Health Organization has it classified as like severe and what was the word they used? Uncomplicated. And the reason why is that if you have malaria and you are well off in a rich country, you're well fed, you don't have anything else really wrong with you because you're lucky or you just have better access to health care, then malaria is just going to cause you to, well, make it less likely to be noticed. That is a great point too. Malaria is hard to diagnose. The doctor has to basically ask people, have you been to a region that we know malaria is, because the only way to really diagnose it is to do blood work and specifically look for it. It causes symptoms like fever, headache, vomiting, and that's about it. And so many other diseases cause that it would be really hard to think, oh, this is malaria versus, oh, this is a cold or a flu. So that's the whole uncomplicated part of it. If you're in a rich country, if you got malaria, it really wouldn't be that bad. There are you'll survive from it, and as long as you don't get reinfected, it won't come back. It'll just work its way out. Interestingly enough, you can naturally develop an immunity to malaria, but it requires you to get malaria several times over several years, and so that's not really a solution to just tell everybody to get malaria. They haven't discovered this disease yet, so I'll just wait and let it spread around. That is very true. Malaria is hard to diagnose. Now, that's the uncomplicated part about it. The severe part about it is because it causes dehydration, because it causes vomiting, because it causes those two symptoms in poor countries like Latin America, Africa, generally speaking, and some of the Asian countries too. In poor countries, getting malaria is very fatal. In fact, it has such a high mortality rate, it kills so many humans, that it is the #1 disease, plague, whatever you want to call it, that is affecting humans' natural evolution, because it is killing so many people. And the reason is they don't have access to clean water, they're already dehydrated in these poor countries, and they are already malnourished and underfed. And so if a disease comes about and makes you more malnourished, more underfed, more dehydrated, well, you are already at your limit in these poor countries, and this disease just pushed you over. So malaria is very deadly. Very, very deadly in poor countries and such. Well, yeah, poor countries. How else can I say? If you're traveling to a poor country, you can take one of three or all of three pills to actually prevent malaria being infected. So it's not a vaccine, because vaccines are forever, but it is a preventative medicine or preventative treatment. One of the pills is doxycycline, if you've ever heard that. I don't remember the names of the other two. So there's like 3 pills. You have to take them up to 2 weeks before you go to a country that might have malaria. So aid workers can take the pills and then go to malaria-stricken areas and try to help treat the people, and mostly just give them fluids and try and keep them from their bodies from completely shutting down because of the malaria and the malnutrition and everything else. So the easiest solution, if it was just that easy, would be to not have poor countries. Make sure everybody's fed well and everybody is hydrated well, and then malaria would not get a foothold and kill as many people. The harder solution, the solution that gets done a lot more, is trying to eliminate the mosquito population. Now they are working on several different ways, as I've infected everybody now with malaria, which we'd have to have a really big boom of like mosquito populations if everybody was gonna get infected. I could see it happening if through like global warming we had very rainy seasons worldwide, and that somehow increased the mosquito population quite a lot. And frankly, if malaria did come to the United States, there are enough poor people and malnourished people and dehydrated people, that it probably would infect the humans, and then if there's probably enough humans in the United States, that would become the secondary transmitters to start infecting even well-fed and pretty healthy people. So it could definitely happen. Malaria could definitely spread to the big countries, and I don't know if we're really capable of solving that problem. One of the solutions, instead of killing mosquitoes, is to actually release more male mosquitoes, or sterilize the male mosquitoes. That was another solution. Either one would get rid of the mosquitoes, but if you release more male mosquitoes, I think that somehow lowered the percentage of females. That can't be right. Must be remembering wrong. Maybe they were releasing sterile male mosquitoes so that then the females couldn't be born. That would make more sense. So let's see, 27 DNA for the next upgrade. 4% to the cure. I don't think they're going to find the cure for malaria. We in the real world have not found any real cure for malaria. One of the secondary problems of trying to cure malaria, which malaria is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's favorite thing they're trying to solve right now, and they really haven't found a solution. But he recently, like a couple years ago, offered $1 million to people for ideas on how to prevent and slow down malaria, get better clean water, inventions and such. And so Bill Gates is definitely working on it, and I will have to attribute a lot of his decision to try and cure malaria is Melinda's influence on him, I think, over the years. I think he's gone from being the young tycoon of one of the richest countries, one of the richest companies of Microsoft, to being very charitable and very much more interested in solving malaria than really being that interested in whatever Windows is doing. He's hardly even involved with Windows and Microsoft anymore. Brazil is in total anarchy. But yeah, malaria's it's a very strange parasite. I didn't even know it was a parasite, but it's a very strange plague and disease that is affecting the world. Of all the plagues we've seen that potentially could exist, that potentially could have wiped out the humans, malaria is the one that is actually doing it. It's not anything that's as nasty or as bad as a lot of the diseases we've thought for rich countries. And I think it is about economic inequality more than anything. I think there's less money being funded, Bill and Melinda Gates being the exception. I think there's less money and research being funded towards curing and making a vaccine of malaria than there is, say, fixing baldness, male pattern baldness or female pattern baldness, because they know that the people affected and dying from malaria are poor people. They can't really pay the hundreds to thousands of dollars per pill that you can charge rich countries for. So greed is a factor. Another thing is that some of the countries have found counterfeit malaria pills being sold. So you make a pill that has nothing in it or something else in it, and you sell that for several things. I don't know how much a pill goes for in Africa for malaria treatment, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like $50 a pill, and $50 US American United States dollar is probably more than most families would ever earn. Well, they would earn in a year. Yeah. So I have to say a lot of it has to do with just economic inequality. And the economic inequality there is that the companies, drug companies and any publicly held countries think they have a moral duty to earn as much money as possible. It's preached, literally preached. And companies and people who run companies don't seem to think they have any other moral duties. And that's sad. I won't get into a rant about it, but it's the reason why malaria, more than anything else, it's the reason why malaria is killing more humans for real than anything else right now. And it may destroy the world like we did. We did it in 574 days. The cure got to 24%. We never did a genetic reshuffle or anything. Strange that malaria is a parasite. Still a little surprised about that. Did not know that. Knew a lot about malaria. Didn't know it was a parasite. So I guess I really didn't know a lot. I knew a little. Frankly, I knew a little about everything and not a lot about anything. Anyways, we've unlocked native biome. So that means in our next episode we will play as the prawn, and we will have every single one of these modified genetic codes unlocked. The test here, and the reason why we're going to play as the prawn on casual, is to see if we win on casual, will we unlock a necrovirus gene, which is the next thing on the list. As you can see, all the other ones are unlocked, so there's no more hiding behind those when we win on the necrovirus. It is a certainty that if we win on casual on necrovirus, we will unlock cytopathic boost or one of these others. But it is a question if we win on casual on prion, will it go ahead and roll our unlocks into this? If it does roll our unlocks into this, we have reason to play all of these: bacteria, virus, fungus, Norax worm, parasite, and prion. If it doesn't go forward, then we have really no reason at this point to play as these other diseases. It's better that we just focus our time and play necrovirus and simian flu on casual, just so we can spend our time wisely. But that's all for the next episode. We are done for this episode. Go research malaria, see what you can do. There are charities out there sending nets, mosquito nets out to malaria. Always research your charity, see how much money is actually being spent to treat the disease and how much money is actually just being spent to advertise for that company. A lot of the big companies and charities you've seen on TV and such spend so much on their advertising, they don't spend that much on the cure. Some charities don't even spend anything on the cure, and they're just promoting awareness of the disease, which is silliness. So always research, make sure you know where you're going, where the money is going. At least do your best effort to find that out. Anyways, that's it in this episode. As always, I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment. If you want to, and watch every second of my videos, all that helps me out. If you want to support me through fan funding, click on my name Rydo, and on the right is a blue button that says support. Any amount you would donate. But I would ask you particularly, if you're going to donate to me because of this episode, donate the same amount to a malaria charity that you pick. Why not? If you want to follow me on Twitter or Google Plus or friend me on Steam or Battle.net, all that information is down below. That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.